What is it like to be working with family? Who goes
You want to
first?
take that one?
Yeah, all
Or
right.
you can start and then I'll tell you the real story.
With my family has been excellent to work with. They've been in the business probably since some from day one. Some of the younger ones, like Andrew, comes following later years, but all in all, it's been very good.
We have been very lucky. Dad has been a person that never put any expectations on us to follow in the family business. If we wanted to, fine, but there was never any pressure. We actually, some of us went off and did other things first. Jim took plumbing and Larry did some other things. So Dad was always somebody that just kind of let things happen. Would support us if we were interested, but if we wanted to do something else, that was fine too. There's like in any family, when it comes to business, that adds another element to things. So we didn't always see eye to eye 100% on every issue, but one thing I think that has ended up is a pretty good balance, because Dad would be a little bit more conservative in the earlier years, and I might have been a little bit more aggressive. So the combined result ended up, I think, being probably the right balance of being conservative and watching what you do, but being aggressive enough to stay on top of things.
I hardly remember. There's a very small, in the basement of Ted Blackburn's building and on Sackville Drive, just down the street from where we are now. We rented several old buildings around the community as warehouses, and that was the Blackburn building was our main office and store. I don't know how many square feet it was, but probably 5,000 or so. We operated in that building for about 5 years and then built here on 250 Sackville Drive.
I started my first kind of paid work, at least, was in 1976. So I'd been around the store many years before that, but I started officially in 1976. I was 15 years old, and started. Dad was always a believer in starting people kind of low man on the totem pole. So my first job, my first day was sweeping the gravel on the parking lot. Spent the first couple of years in the warehouse, serving customers out in the yard. It's how I got to know all of the different building materials that we were carrying. I had this old handsaw, and a customer wanted something cut in half, so I'm trying to cut it, and this gentleman was a carpenter, and he taught me, well, when you hold a handsaw, you do it like this, and you take your finger and you point it along the line, and then you saw this way, and it keeps it straight, and it helps you cut better. And to this day, 45 years later, I do it that way whenever I use a handsaw. So it was a good education in those early years, and I don't regret spending those early years out in the warehouse and just doing the day-to-day jobs that are still done here today. Wow, what have I learned from my father? Well, I've learned a lot from Dad, and having worked with him for the decades that I have, of course, we have both changed over that time. I think in the early years, you know, he was certainly a lot more involved in the day-to-day and understood the business a lot better than I did. You know, he certainly taught me the importance of a work ethic. He taught me the importance of being involved in the community and giving back to the community. He really was, and still is to this day, a great mentor of mine. For being family, lots of times family in business just does not work. While we would oftentimes have two very different viewpoints on the same subject, I think we were both, well, maybe more him than me sometimes, a little bit more tolerant of listening to the other person's viewpoint or open to receiving the other viewpoint. So he'd probably say that I wasn't always tolerant of his viewpoint, but I think I was most of the time. Very different business now than it was then. 5 or 6 staff and 1 store, and now we're in the process of adding our 8th store and have well over 200 staff. So the way things are done today are a little bit different, but the underlying guiding principles of respecting people is still the same. Yeah, I want to know that one too.
Well, I've learned from working with Andrew, and I've been grateful to have someone to more or less take over the business and keep it running under the Payzant name, knowing that I just couldn't do it now, and I can't imagine hiring someone to replace him, because he's I don't know, sort of, it was a natural. We had 4 sons. 3 of them retired. They all worked at the store for a number of years, and now 3 of them have retired. So that leaves just the one Andrew left me to growl about.
And yet
try to keep him straight.
And yet you haven't retired yet.
No.
How is it your 3 sons retire before you?
That's what I can't understand.
Happy Father's Day. Happy
Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. That was pretty close. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. There you go.
How did we run this business?
I don't know, Andrew.
Happy Father's Day. That was good.
Perfect.